I just came across a wording by Steve Chandler. Apparently, he's a coach that I really like. It was actually an article that was written by Rich Litvin, and he was quoting his friend Steve Chandler. And I forget the exact quote, so I'm not even going to try because I'm not that good. But I want you to write this down, and then I'm going to start from this. And I just want you to write this down. I just want you to capture this, especially as you're processing, as you're talking through your life and the life you're trying to create. Because it's all about creating the life that that you want and creating the life we want together, right? We're doing this because we're basically on a path of learning how to create the exact life that we want for who we are, and then continuing to evolve that. So if we were to kind of simplify the goal that we have, that's the kind of life and that's actually what on the path we're on, right? And that's what we're problem solving, because we're actually, as we're problem solving, we're trying to figure out who we are. And so on that path, we actually need to understand the simple thing. So are you all ready to write this down? Okay. The results we get are perfect for the system we created. The results we get are perfect for the system we created. Now, I actually talked about this in my morning class. So if you're in my morning class, you've heard this, but I'm going to cover this again because I cannot actually emphasize the importance of this enough. Some of you may remember this. I'm going to see if I can tie this together, but some of you will remember me saying, you get what you practice. Meaning whatever it is your behavior is, that's what you get. If you go slow, you get results for going slow. If you rush, you get results for rushing, right? I've also talked about how what you believe, you attract. So if you go, no, not that, then you attract more opportunities where you get to say, no, not that, right? And I've also talked about how, like if you go, yeah, then you actually attract more opportunities where you get to go, yeah, right? Because kind of what we attract is aligned with emotions. Now, I want to say that this line that I just gave you, you get the perfect results, or you get results that are perfect for the system, or you get the perfect results for the system you created. This is probably the most comprehensive languaging I've found for what I'm trying to teach in terms of transformation. You can probably intuit it, right? So I'm going to see if I can just lay this out. So the system, your system actually is your belief system of who you believe yourself to be. And out of who you believe yourself to be, the strategies you use for who you believe yourself to be. And then from the strategies, the tactics or the skill sets you utilize to execute that strategy. Did that make sense? That's your belief system. Now, your system has a belief system, and it also has your life ecosystem. Your life ecosystem are basically the containers that you've created and the habits you have. It runs your life. So it's a yin and the yang. One is external, one is internal. Your belief system is internal, and then the lifestyle that you created, the life ecosystem you created is external. Yes.
I don't think I caught what you said. I wrote the strategies you use based on who you believe yourself to be, and then the tactics you use to execute based on who you think yourself to be.
Tactics are skills that you use to execute the strategy.
Thank you. That's helpful.
Oh, welcome. Okay, very good. So you have the yin and yang. So the lifestyle that you create, they reinforce your beliefs. Can you see that? If you believe that you're the kind of person who rushes, then you're going to keep rushing, and you're going to have containers that actually make you rush. Because if you create containers while rushing, than those who are created during rushing circumstances. So most likely they will create more circumstances where you have to rush. And so you're going to get better and better at rushing, ironically, which means that you're going to get more and more results from that container. And you're going to have more habits that make you rush. And so you're going to get more and more results that you rush. And that's going to reinforce the belief that you are someone who rushes. Can you see that? So what that means is if you don't change, so you can approach this two different ways. You can change the container where it forces you to slow down. So you get results that is acquired by someone who is slow. And as you start seeing those results, you start believing you're someone who goes slow and doesn't rush. You can also change the belief that you're someone who goes slow. And then from that behavior, your strategy changes to the kind of strategies that someone would employ that go slow. And then out of those, you start learning skills and tactics that would allow you to go slow, which would help you create containers that would allow you to go even slower. Do you see? It cycles. So your external container reinforces your belief, and your beliefs reinforces your container. So far, so good. Any questions on this? Okay, very good. Now, here's the thing. When I say the belief that you created or the system you created, I'm not saying that you consciously created that. So there's no blame there. Oftentimes, we create things out of just knee-jerk reactions. As a matter of fact, it's almost more accurate to say the system that we have. We get the results for the system that we have. But it's kind of interesting. When you become conscious of it, then you can keep creating the system. And so in some ways, whether you did it unconsciously or whether you did it consciously, you're the one who created it. And unless you understand that, you can't uncreate it or you can't recreate it, right? And so this languaging allows you to have agency and understanding that you can recreate your system. And if you can recreate your system, then you can get different results. So far, so good? Okay, so this is actually key. Now, what I want to get to is about the belief system that's so difficult. So I want to today just talk about identifying the right problem. And today, I'm just going to call it the belief system, especially who you are, the belief of who you are. And the reason is because it's in some ways an easy one to look at. And then next week, I'm going to cover it from the opposite direction because you need to kind of have, both sides of the equation. So does it make sense so far? Okay. So here's a key thing. So I've come up with this concept that's called the cluster of beliefs, a belief cluster. So I'll give an example. So I used to believe that I'm not talented enough, like athletically speaking. This was like a long time ago. And the reason is because there's many different reasons, when I was up to 12, I was always sick. And, I'd never really kind of like learned a sport because I moved so much. And so kind of like I wasn't good at basketball. I wasn't good at baseball and soccer. And like when I'd moved from Germany to Korea, kids were like already like playing all these games. And I was still just playing catch, And so it's kind of like, I was kind of like, so I started behind on these things. And then I'd always see these people who seemed to be these super duper athletes, and it was always defined in a certain way. It wasn't actually until I met my mentor, grandfather Jeff, where he said, "You're a physical genius." And my first response was, "You have no idea what you're talking about." I didn't say that to him, but that's what I felt, because my internal belief is I'm not someone who's talented. I actually suck physically because I so easily get sick. I confused between fitness and health, and I thought that they were the same thing. I actually hence found out that you can actually be fit and not healthy, meaning as in you can be athletic and be physically capable and actually be easily get sick. I didn't understand the difference, and so I was fit, I wasn't healthy. for various reasons. And so between all these different things, I didn't actually recognize that I was a good athlete. I wasn't terrible at it, but I just wasn't. And I also had this belief that I needed to be fixed. Now, it's an interesting thing. So if you think that you need to be fixed, you don't realize that you actually really think underneath, it's implied that you're broken. We don't think about that, but actually can you see that? Can you see this? This is called a cluster of beliefs. A belief never stands on itself. There's a central core belief that's called, who am I? I am this. It's a being belief. It's a core belief about who you are. And out of who you are, you start collecting strategies as to how to execute who you are, or how to approach life, how to look at life. If you are a broken person physically, then you need to look at life a certain way. And then you need to employ certain strategies a certain way. Right? So now, out of this, I had a certain strategy. I needed to find the best martial art. Why? Because I wasn't physically capable, I needed something really profound to compensate for my lack of talent. I need to really work hard and I need to really push myself because my body is not enough. So I had to work harder than other people. I need to have a double standard, because if I don't have a double standard, I'll never catch up. I need to keep this a super secret. So I need to find the best system and it to be super secret, because otherwise other people are going to catch up because they're going to be more talented than I am. You'll notice that a lot of these things that I'm calling out are completely opposite to who you know me to be. And so that's actually evidence that you can change. But having said that, but so you all know the story that I always typically tell about, how to have compassion with yourself, which is basically I was doing the splits, and I learned how to use breathing to do the splits and how to lengthen my body. I still saw my body as a mechanical being, a mechanical thing. I needed to look at it as a mechanical thing, right? Because it wasn't talented enough. I needed to be able to control it. So it's a mechanical thing. It's not really a being. It's not a part of me. It's me. It's a machine that I can control. Why? Because I need to control it, right? Because it's broken. These are all unconscious things that's tied to this belief I'm broken. Can you see this? There are clusters of waves of how. Is this clear or is this vague? Okay, good. So essentially, you don't even know you're collecting these beliefs. Now, working hard, is that a bad thing or a good thing? It's a good thing. On the whole, it's a good thing, actually. There's nothing wrong with that. I like to work hard. I need to push myself. Is pushing yourself considered most of the time good thing or a bad thing? Most of the time, it's considered a good thing. So I started collecting all these things underneath. So it's kind of interesting. It's hidden. So I think I work hard, I push myself, and I'm smart, I'm intellectual, but actually it's interesting. I have to be intellectual. Why? Because I'm instinctually not good. See, it's founded upon this belief that I am instinctually broken or not good enough. I'm not enough. So I'm building all these positive things on top of it. Now, let me show you how this actually comes together. So I've learned the super duper skill, how to relax, lengthen, and use chi extension to do my splits. It's working. I hit it on my left side. Now I need to hit it on my right side. And it's a machine. I can push it, no problem. I have to push really hard. Why? Because I'm not good enough. I don't have any patience because I don't really have the confidence that I'm going to get this. So I want it now because I don't have the confidence I'm going to get it later. I'm not listening to my body, but because I don't really want to listen to it, because I want to see it as something I can control. So I got my hamstring pull. I was so angry at my body. I kept pushing it because why? I'm a determined guy. That's what I tell myself. I'm a determined guy. No, what I'm really is I'm afraid that I pushed it and all of a sudden now I have an injury. The day I got my full splits, I got my injury. And now I don't want to lose it the day after. I'm pushing, I'm desperate. I want to prove to myself that I can be fixed. Now, what am I doing? I'm making my injury worse. I don't really listen to my body. And after a week of doing that, I couldn't even walk properly. My hamstring was so inflamed. It was so tight. I couldn't even properly get out of bed. And just so you know how determined I was, right? Actually, really kind of lacking self-esteem and acting out of desperation is actually what's more accurate, is I would stretch for 2 hours to get into the splits. Why? Because it was injured, it was so tight that it took me 2 hours to pry it open. And then each time I opened it, I would tear it worse. I'm just giving you, no. Now, that's not confidence. That's a severe lack of self-esteem. And most people go for willpower. Most people go for, now that's not balanced. And after a week of that, I utilized the rest of the processing and the principles, brought me back a little bit back to reality. And I realized what I'd done to my body. And for the first time, I started seeing my body as actually a part of me and as a being. And I started realizing that it's more like if it was a little baby and I was helping it stretch, would I have gone that far? If this was my little dog and I was helping it stretch, would I have gone that far? Would I have hurt it that way, the way I hurt myself? And I realized I would have never done that. So can you see who you believe yourself to be really determines the results? So guess what? I saw myself as someone who's instinctually incapable. So I kept getting what? I kept getting results that proved that I was instinctually incapable. Can you see that I'm getting the results? Why? Because if you keep pushing your body harder than it should and you're not really listening to your instincts, guess what happens? You have more injuries, you don't perform as well because you overwork it or you underwork it. Can you see that? Is this clear enough? I'm just trying to demonstrate this. If you believe that your body's broken, you're going to get way more results of your body being broken because you're going to keep reacting to that brokenness. And so when I realized, you know, I got to be compassionate to my body. This is not a machine. This is me. This is me. This is literally a part of me. This is my baby. And I need to relate to, I need to be my best friend. That's actually part of where the best friend thing came in. And I realized that I was not my best friend. I was my enemy. I had double standards. And I realized I need to be fair to myself. That's where I started. So I just started being fair. I started accepting myself. I said, okay, you might not be someone who's physically talented, but that's okay. And somewhere in there, I got lucky and I met grandfather Jeff. And he said, no, you're a physical genius. And I'm like, and I'm fighting against him because I'm proving to him that I'm not. And somewhere in there, I realized that actually, as I am trying to prove to him that I'm not, I'm also proving to myself I'm not. I'm just hoping that he's gonna prove me wrong enough where he's gonna convince me I'm a physical genius. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that he's gonna do the work for me, actually, because I've got such a lack of confidence. Now, at some point, I looked at this and I said, what if he is right? What if he's true? What if what he says is true? And I kind of made a compromise where I said, you know what? I have some talent. And then I started seeing some talent. And I said, what if I actually believe that I am talented? And then I started seeing how much talented I am. Can you see how your belief system literally determines what you filter out? This is actually called confirmation bias. There's a good aspect to confirmation bias and there's a bad aspect to confirmation bias. Like when you're talking with someone, you need to listen to them and let go of your confirmation bias. You need to have enough awareness to be able to do that. But when it comes to your own life, confirmation bias is actually not bad, unless you're not getting the results you're looking for. And this is actually why I'm talking about this. If you're not getting the results you're looking for, somewhere in there, you believe that you're supposed to be getting those results. Now, you don't directly think that. Like, see, I didn't think that I shouldn't be able to get the splits, right? I didn't think that I should be getting injured. But fundamentally, I believed that I was instinctually not capable and that I needed to rely on my mind to control my body. That's what I believed. So I got the results for that, the collective result for believing that. Can you see that? So when I was sparring, I would try and basically think my movements. Okay, punch now. Oh, now block now. If you've ever sparred, that never works. Your thoughts are way too slow. But you know what's really sad is my thinking is so fast that it was pretty comparable for most people's instincts, actually. But still never as fast as true instinct. It's not designed to be. So I'm getting proof that I suck at sparring. I'm getting proof that instinctually I suck. I'm getting proof that my reflexes are bad. I'm getting proof that I'm inflexible. I'm getting proof that I may be strong, but I don't have any endurance. I'm getting proof. Is this helpful? Like, and this was all the things I used to believe. Now, once I actually started changing it, I started realizing, no, I have all the endurance I need. And yes, I'm strong, but you know what? That's not even important. That's not even what I care about. In the past, that's all I could rely on. I basically tried to center my entire martial and life around just me being strong. And I was sad that I wasn't stronger because that's all I had. Like it was the one gift my bad instincts had. And now I know I got incredible reflexes, actually. They're actually a little too fast. And so I need to slow myself down because I basically pick up the other person's movements even before they start moving because it's so good, actually. And so what happens is I actually go for, if you will, the block before they even have a chance to punch when they were about to punch. And then because I moved first, now they don't punch and then I get hit. So I need to slow down. And actually, I didn't start realizing this until I accepted some of these parts to myself. So my reflexes are super fast. And actually, the only person who really recognized it was actually Grandfather Jeff. And so he started pointing some of these signs. I was like, oh, this is right. And so on and so forth. And the only reason I was instinctually not talented was because I kept holding myself back using my mind. My instincts were never free to do what they needed because I never trusted it. So of course I kept getting results throughout my entire life. I'm physically not talented. Now, I'm not saying you should believe something that you can't, okay? So this is not a positive rah-rah, okay? That doesn't work. And I'm going to end with this analogy, and then I'm going to hope that this will help you find what you're looking for, okay? So let's say, for instance, you want to learn how to ride the bike, okay? And let's say, for instance, you're afraid. Then all you need to actually be able to do is be able to say, you know what? I'm someone who is actually willing to have courage and face my fears and ride the bike. And this is all you need to say. Instead of saying, I'm someone who, whatever belief that you have. Can you see that? You just need to be able to take the next step. But let's say, for instance, you try and be positive and say, I'm someone who is great at riding the bike. Now, that actually can work too. But guess what's going to happen? The moment you say and you get the confidence and you get on the bike and you fall off, you might think what? That you suck at it. And now you got proven again how much you suck. Because these are belief clusters. So whenever you have a positive belief, you're going to come across belief clusters. The beliefs that are all related to your core belief. This is making sense. So literally your job is to problem solve one belief cluster at a time. And once in a while you get lucky and you can actually find a central one that resolves a cluster of them all at the same time. So now in the same example, let's say for instance, someone had been riding a bike and they know how to ride a bike, but the entire time they believed that they sucked at it. But then they realized, no, I'm a good bike rider. Then all of a sudden you can see in one day, all of a sudden they're going to be able to utilize all the skills that they have actually accumulated over the years and just start riding the bike really well. That's called the miraculous instantaneous transformation. But that was founded upon that person already having the skills. Now, that person who had the belief, the person who is trying to learn the bike, they don't have the skills yet. They don't have the tactics. So even if you change out the core, they still need to get the strategy and the tactics. Is this helpful? Why sometimes the transformation is instantaneous and sometimes it's not? If you have already the skills, it switches instantaneously. It's like it's like doing someone, who's never done surgery, becoming motivated and thinking, I can do the surgery. And then here's a surgeon who just was lacking motivation and then finds inspiration. Do you see the difference? So this is again, structure versus state. Okay. So in short, whatever it is you want to be able to do. So let's say, for instance, you want to say, you know what, I want to be more organized. Then start with something that feels right to you. And you'll notice that maybe you have a belief. You don't even need to look for what the belief you don't have. You can just test it. You can say, I'm someone who is organized. And then look at what comes up. That's the beliefs you have about yourself. And then once you find the beliefs you have about yourself, see how you want to retranslate that and reprogram that particular belief. And then take the next action. And as you take the next action, see what results you get. And then that results will trigger the next cluster. And all you need to do is move one cluster at a time. Is this helpful? Is this bringing clarity? So I'm going to just summarize the last portion again, because that's the implementation. All that was context. Here's implementation. Whatever it is you're trying to do, look at that area and see what it is you're trying to do. And then let's say, for instance, you're trying to ride a bike and you're afraid to do so, or you keep falling off, then see what you want to be able to say. You want to say, I'm someone, who rides the bike really well. And then when you say that, you're going to have the objections come up. The belief clusters that made you fall off the bike or whatever, like made you feel like you're a bad bike rider, okay? See what that comes up. It could be I'm a bad bike rider because I'm not good with objects. I used to have that. I used to think once I got to believe that my instincts are good, I thought my instincts are good unless it comes to different objects. Like catching balls or, like doing things. And I found that's not true. And what I realized is that, okay, I realized that I found a way around it. I said, okay, I'm physically talented. I'm just not used to this. That's a great belief. I'm just not used to it yet. So whatever new identity or belief I started having about myself, such as like, I'm someone who stands up straight. And then whenever I found myself like this, I would say, oh, I'm just not used to it. Whereas before I used to, yeah, I'm not someone who stands straight. I just need to force myself to stand straight. And then I'm trying to force myself to stand straight against my belief I'm someone who's curved. That never works. It just creates more tension. So in summary, look at what you want to do. Look at what belief you want to have. And when you look at the belief, you're going to have the clusters come up of the old belief. Look at how you want to change it to something that will allow you to take the next step, and then take the next step, and then look at what results you get. You see, it's a step by step. It's based on observing the results. If you're not getting the results you want, your belief is off. It's as simple as that. The results you get is you're getting perfect results for the system you created. You see how this ties in? You're getting perfect results for the system you created. Your results is the best indicator of what beliefs you have. If you're not certain, try it. If you're getting certain results, look at all your beliefs and look at why you're getting that result. You're going to find it. And I will continue next week because I want you guys to try. I gave you information. Now it's time to try. Is this clear enough for you guys to try now? Okay, very good. You can literally use this as a mind map. You're getting results and you're like, okay, I'm getting the perfect result for the system I created. What are my beliefs? Okay, I know I don't want this, but I tried this, I did this. And then you keep writing those, you keep listing it out and then you'll see it. You'll start seeing it. Once you see it, you'll have a chance to change them out. If you're not good with finances, look at why that is. If you're not good with negotiations, look at why that is. Whatever it is, if you're getting results you don't want, you're getting the perfect results for the system you created. Good? Excellent.